Starlight TV. So today, Sue and I gonna talk about how to make your shift to a positive timeline when things are not going well. So the 2022 is the year of transformation. We all know that, and we are all going toward a positive timeline. But I assume not everybody is having amazing time right now at this moment. So let's, talk about this, and then we can provide our tips and stuff like that. So, do you have any tips, Sue?
The first thing that comes to mind is the heart center.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes through difficult times, and some people right now are having it harder than others. And,
Yeah.
It's not really about like who's having the hardest time or anything, but, what do we do when we're
It's
having
not a
these
competition.
difficulties? Yeah, we don't want to compete for that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, the thing is, in our heart center is everything that ever will be, ever was, and of course the present moment. And we
Mhm.
can access going back to our deepest desires, what
Yeah.
we want for our lives. And I think that when we focus on those concepts, ideas,
Mhm.
plans, whatever it is, and then open up the heart space and say, okay, I let it in, I allow, I welcome these things into my life. I think what that does is that just realigns us in times of difficulty with source, with
Yeah.
prime creator, where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it reiterates what we want for our lives. And staying on our timeline, you know, sometimes I feel, and this is just a personal share,
Mm-hmm.
that I go back and forth sometimes between timelines, and I know that there have been some moments where I haven't kept my energy very high, and I think I've dipped into another timeline, one that isn't my ideal timeline. And the thing I could say about that is, I think that that's a possibility, and I think that it's the reason I know that it's a possibility is because today when I was at work,
Mm-hmm.
I had just finished this large part of a spreadsheet, and I started thinking about something else, and I think I had an interruption or like a question about something, so I was dealing with that.
Yeah.
And I came back to my spreadsheet, and half of what I did was gone,
Oh my God.
just gone. And I remember I
Shifted.
just did this work, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I hadn't touched my keyboard in between. So I thought, what is going on? What the heck? And I had that, and I could feel it in my body. It was like something shifted. I feel like I was on a different timeline momentarily, and then I was back.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I said to myself, because I'm constantly saving my spreadsheets, and so I don't lose information that way, but I had not touched my keyboard. So I thought, okay, this is just like a little reminder to stay in the present moment, to try to be, as present as possible and really paying attention, because I think those timeline shifts can happen pretty fast, like
Yeah.
instantaneously, like momentarily. And it wasn't a bad thing. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I just redid the spreadsheet, but it's interesting that you picked this topic for tonight, because that happened to me today. And I thought, well, this is kind of synchronicitous. I think it is a good thing to talk about. But
Yeah.
don't get down on yourself if you feel like you've come into some kind of circumstances, or maybe you haven't been the highest vibe lately. Maybe there's some old stuff rattling around in there that needs to come up and be seen before you can and really felt and resolved. We've talked about this many times.
Yeah.
We got to feel it to heal it. And just give yourself a break, but try and stay in that heart center as much as possible, because that's where all great things come from.
Yeah, the shift happened to me that a couple of days ago. I was looking at my view on the actually that was Friday, the view, and then I saw 111. So I'm thinking, oh, that's 111, and then I think a couple of hours later it became 110. So I'm thinking, okay, that's weird, and then it went back to 111. So I think,
Wow.
oh, whatever that I shifted momentarily to totally different timeline, right? And then that kind of stuff happened to me a lot before people started talking about Mandela effect, because I do matrix energetics, and then when you matrix energetics, we experience that timeline shift all the time. Even our founder talks about it. When they wanted to go to the restaurant disappeared where they went yesterday. Like no sign of restaurant, no old building, it's totally gone. So we heard about it, but when it happened to you, I mean, it's quite interesting. And when things aren't working, you know, um, it's like Peter Sage was saying, you have to make a decision to shift your focus. So what I do is I'm gonna start counting the blessings, even though the stuff is so obvious, right? If you can count anything like happening in your life, right? You can start to count the blessings of something you are taking as normal to have, like thanking for the good internet connection, thanking for New York is kind of fucked up, but thanking for New York City is not in the war, we can still have a normal life, right? I mean, not that normal, but I'm saying we are not like avoiding the bread or anything, it's like not, I mean, not catastrophe like war. So
You're not in Australia, so I can say that's always something to be grateful for. I think those folks are suffering hard, but yeah,
well,
I know what you're saying.
my Australian client, some of the place they live, nothing is happening what they're saying. So no matter which, it depends on which timeline they're at. So which is very interesting to me. So you can start counting on something like
That's a good point.
something you think of normal. Like, okay, you are thanking for you have a house, you are thanking for you have food to eat, you're thanking for you have air to breathe. Like you have always something you can think of, like you have bunch of books you can read or bunch of music you have, whatever, right? So I do that. So that's gonna make me shift to little more positive mood. And let's say if I cannot really stop thinking about certain things, like all this negative emotion comes up or something, then I decided to focus on the emotion until it goes away. And then after that, I'm gonna focusing on doing the project or doing something makes me happy. So because if you keep on thinking about or having certain emotions which you don't really feel happy to feeling about, then you have to get rid of that emotion in order to focusing on the project. So I do all those threes to shift myself into one state to another. And that's something you guys can do as well. Yeah.
Sorry. The other thing I would suggest too is get active. Um, Ruminating on anything means that you have like some sedentary time, and then it's allowing your brain to just go ahead on I stinking thinking, whatever you want to call it. I get monkey brain is what I call it, where my mind just goes, duh, 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 it's here, it's there, it's everywhere. And then after a while, I'm just, so much static.
Mhm.
So get up and get moving is another suggestion, because lately I've been doing a lot of physical work and it feels really good. I haven't for a while, and somebody offered to carry something for me today, and I said, you know what, I got it, thanks, I appreciate it, but I need the exercise, I mean, my body is just going, okay, you've had your break, let's get moving.
Yeah,
But
that's a
anyway,
good idea.
it does, if you're doing just like mundane stuff like the dishes, that kind of thing, your brain has the opportunity to get going again.
Mhm.
Um, maybe even just, 20 minutes of solid exercise, or it just breaks me right out of it. So that's why I'm suggesting it. I don't know if it works for everybody, but for me, um, I love it. And then you get your endorphins going, your adrenaline's going, all those things that happen when you exercise. And of course, it helps the neurotransmitters in the brain, your serotonin and all that. So that's another suggestion.
Yeah,
Any
and then I can suggest to you guys, I can't do this, but if you guys are kind of people who can take a nap, go take a nap, because once you reset yourself by taking nap, after you wake up, you are probably going to be in a different state of mind.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm glad you said that.
Mhm.
I know there have been days where I've been so down, and I think to myself, it's all right. I'm going to go to sleep soon. And when I get up tomorrow, I'm going to feel a lot better. I always do. I always feel better. I think it's like
Yeah,
that promise of a new day,
yeah. And then
sun's up.
it's always a good idea to have this fact within yourself. No matter how long this stuckness, this cycle feels like forever, things are always changing. So this eventually
Yeah.
goes away and it changes as well.
Yeah. Nothing lasts forever. It can't. I mean, that's the nature of reality, is everybody's reality is nothing
Yeah,
stays the
because that's a
same.
yeah, because that's a law of it, the universe, like one of the five. So yeah.
Hmm.
So any last tips?
Yeah, I think my last tip is I remind myself on a daily not to take things so seriously. I mean, there are times where I can be the most intense individual, and I just find ways to make myself laugh. Lately, I've been going to comedians and things like that, but in the scheme of things, and talking on a woo-woo level, we are infinite beings of source. This earthly thing is an experience. It's not forever. And, it touches on what you just said, nothing lasts forever, but also, we're so much more than this human existence. So, I mean, I really want us to enjoy it, to try and get to that heart center and really enjoy it. But also don't lighten up, don't take yourself so seriously, because honestly, if you didn't get it right now, what you're asking for or what you're trying to do, if it isn't exactly the way you want it, there's always another chance to do it. And even if at the end of this lifetime you didn't do it, you get as many lifetimes as you want. So, you know, there's no finish line. We're constantly evolving, and just, trying to have some fun.
Yeah. And then it's very important. My last tip is to love yourself. So if things are not going well for you, don't blame on yourself or think about there's something wrong with you, or I did something wrong or stuff like that. No, sometimes you have to go through the certain cycle. Like in Leo
Yeah.
reading, Leo got out of 20 years of a cycle. And then my girlfriend was saying, what did we do, to deserve this kind of catastrophe for 20 years? So I was like, I don't know, like maybe like that's what they set up for Leo. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, right? So but the point is that 20 years cycle is over. So after we transcend a 3D and a 4D level, this kind of astrology stuff is no longer affecting us. But we are still 4D, 4.8D. So it's 4D. So we do get the influence from planets, right? So, but that is over. So do not blame on yourself. Things happen. If you did your best and you think you did your best, that's good enough, right? And then so love
Yep.
yourself,
Yep.
and then take it easy on yourself. when you have no energy left and then you're so burned out, and nobody gonna tell you you gotta get up and keep on working in there as hard as you have been doing for last 10 years, you know, seriously. We all deserve to rest and take it easy. So take it easy is part of loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So next week, Sue and I are gonna bring more interesting topic, and Happy New Year, everybody. And
Happy New Year.
yeah, so please like, share, subscribe, and then we see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.